Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today in Twisted Draw Stuff, where we are TDS, not an STD, we'll be taking a look at this art piece I did. Now, starting off, pretty strong stuff going here. I'd say this is one of my stronger art pieces, but with that said, I think I like starting my videos out with pointing out the flaws to show you that it's not all perfect. It's okay to make mistakes as an artist. Because a lot of people are going to look at this and be like, holy crap, this is pretty good. I like this. I wish I could draw like that. I'm still improving. So let's start with it. Number one, first thing to point out, he's got no fingers. I have no fingers. Yes, this is my OC. As you can see, my little demon guy. I really like this character. I originally made it as my Roblox avatar. If you look at my Roblox avatar on Roblox, it's usually a rainbow demon guy. All capitals, Twisted Jack-O-Pumpkin. But anyways, this is what my avatar looks like. He doesn't have a demon tail, though. I think I need to add that. I think that's an issue. I think we need to fix that. Anyways, he's got no fingers. That's an issue. That's getting rid of some detail. I got a little lazy and didn't feel like drawing the fingers. So maybe moving forward, try maybe putting a little more effort into stuff like that. But anyways, if we take a look here, the lighting on him, or my character, isn't too bad. Maybe it's a little strong right here, but other than that, the lighting looks okay. Where the problem lies is the lighting of this bouncing off onto these objects. You can see the lighting's a little too strong. It looks like this light source is coming from like right here. Hold on, I did something weird. If we take a look at the anyways, it looks like that light source is actually coming from like right here, and it's bouncing and reflecting off of this, which it is not and should not look like that. Same thing with this up here. These are really bright. It looks like the light source is coming off of like something like the letters, but it's not. If anything, these should actually be red, yellow, green, and then slowly changing to blue. But that is way too bright to be getting a light source from this, which is not as bright. But yeah, improvement on that. Noted. This one's okay-ish because it's really close, but at the same time it also has some pink bouncing off of it, which the pink is over here. I should have done more like half and half instead of the pink feels like it's coming from back here, and it looks more purplish than anything. So I could improve on that. Let's take a look at some other stuff. The feet. The feet aren't what heels look like. Those look like really painful feet to have. The legs are okay-ish. The arms look decent. The head needs improvement. We'll get to that in a second. But these feet are not correct. Again, looking at it at a whole, it honestly looks not that bad, but your perception of this image has probably drastically changed from the beginning of this video. You probably saw this as a mostly perfect, flawless art piece, but now that I'm starting to dissect it, you're probably starting to see a lot more of the flaws, which is okay as an artist. It's okay to dissect your stuff, because then that helps you improve. But yeah, the feet are an issue. This one's a little bit better than this one. This foot's really chunky. Actually, if we're looking at it now, this foot is way too big to be on the same body as this one. It looks like he got stung. Like his ankle's like swelling up. That doesn't look right. That looks like his leg comes down and turns into a weird shape. This actually looks more like a foot. You can see where the ankle is. You can see where the calf is. You can see where the foot starts. But here, yikes, my dude. Anyways, but yeah, I could have made that a little better and easier to look at. Jesus Christ. Looking at the head here, these are supposed to be demon horns. That's supposed to be a horn, and this is supposed to be a horn. I should have changed. I think that's a little too loud. I'll move over here. what I should have, well, I think you guys can hear me perfectly fine. Anyways, what I should have done is I should have changed the placement of this by making it a little higher, or by also making this come off of the character. For example, I could have drawn it, here, I'll actually pull this out. I could have drawn the horn instead coming out kind of like this. That way you could actually make out the shape better, and then I could have put that, like, frown more like right here. But yeah, it doesn't look like the, God, dude. It doesn't look like that's a horn. It kind of looks like he's like a happy face. Kind of looks like a teardrop with a smile. It kind of just looks like this. Hold on for you. It kind of just looks like this. If I'm being honest, it looks like a smiley face like that. But yeah, that's just stuff to improve on. I'd say overall, everything right here looks okay for the art piece. We're going to move on to a different section of this drawing that could also use improvement. Coming down over here, overall this background looks really nice. I think I did a good job on it. However, I did use a brush to kind of cheat in a way, because I didn't really like hand draw any of it. There's already a brush that has, you know, like a galaxy look to it. So me using that brush is kind of like a cheat. So maybe in the future, using voice, god dang it, adult. You're an adult now. Stop voice cracking. Using brushes in the future that can help me get a product like this, rather than using a brush that already has a product like this. For example, merging brushes to make them appear as though they were this brush. So moving on from that, if we take a look down here, I overall think this is really nice, but a few things. Number one, if for people who didn't notice or didn't catch it, it's supposed to be a planet exploding. I personally could have done better with that, and here's why. You see how it's like perfect shapes? Like, I don't mean like perfect, like symmetrically or whatever. I mean like perfect huge chunks that just came out. That wouldn't be happening. If a planet exploded, there would be chunks everywhere. Similar to this, like there's big chunks, but there's also smaller chunks. You can see here, I even like kind of like tried to line it up the best I could. So maybe by coming down here, I'll actually show you an example, and maybe cutting off more of these sections and having more like tiny chunks around to make it look more like a destroyed planet rather than something opening up. Like, you see how that, like, imagine this, like, finished sketch, like, and added to that. Wouldn't that look so much better? But yeah, that's just my personal take on that. But yeah, other than that, pretty strong overall. We will actually take a look into the time lapse. This is what I started off. I started off by making the room and then drawing my character. I started adding most of the detail for the character. I think it's mostly good to start with your detail, not with like if you can start with the background, but mainly like showing your detail and like starting your detail off where like you want your focus to be. That way you can work the rest of your image to make this the main focus rather than anything else. You can actually see, if you take a look in the top right here, I was originally going to have another planet exploding. But, you know, I shied away from it because I wasn't comfortable redoing it again. Because I was like, that was really hard. Moving forward, I think it would be good for better practice with that. You know, not shying away from that and instead coming back to it. Maybe trying to draw things that I'm not comfortable with more often, like I've stated in a few of my other videos that are already on the channel. But yeah, so also this is how the background started looking at first, and I really like the look of that, so I decided to keep this look. So I made all that. This is me making the planet down here. I'll show you guys that little showcase. There was really no need for any watermarks or hidden watermarks or anything, since my username was literally part of the main focus of the drawing. Also, I will add, I think personally about right at this point, I think it was okay to stop, because this honestly looked pretty okay, and you could actually tell it was a planet exploding. But then I came back to it and added a bunch of unnecessary details, like all this fire coming out and spewing out, which kind of make it harder to understand what's going on. For fellow artists, it's okay to have details. It's okay to exaggerate those details sometimes, but make sure that the main point and what's happening in your image is not able to be overlooked, because I showed this to my mom and she's like, what? She's like, what is that? I'm like, oh boy. But yeah. Yeah, as you can see, I kind of went over the top a little bit. Some people should be able to easily pick up that it was a planet exploding, because, you know, we are in space. But I could understand how it's easy to overlook. But yeah, that's the overall art piece. Overall, again, geez, overusing that word. I think I did a relatively good job. Obvious notes on improvement, like lighting, details on characters, not having fungal infections on your foot. You know, that looks like a disease. I don't want my feet to be looking like that. He's got one leg that's obese. He's got a cankle and then a normal leg. I don't know how he's able to get overweight in one leg, and then the rest of his body looks fine, but you know. Anyways, that's it from me. That's the overall art piece. That's all I just really wanted to showcase. But yeah, that's it from me. Thank you guys for watching this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.